So, and everyone else will just chime in and catch up as they go. Um, so we're going to get rolling. We've got a problem, a challenge. There's something we're dealing with in the business culture and the landscape. And here's the main issue is that the whole world is online, competing for the attention of your buyers. They're competing for the attention of your buyers. That is a challenge. Who's experiencing that? Right. Since we thought the whole world was online, and then when COVID happened, we realized the whole world came online, and so there's people who you're competing with everything and anything that requires and needs attention, but there's an awful lot of ahas and changes and things that people have to go through that we want to make sure that you are prepared for. Okay. You also have to deal with artificial intelligence, AI. How does it fit? Where does it fit? Is it something that you need to implement? Is it something you need to master? Is it something that's going to replace you, take you over, eliminate you, wipe you out, change things in your world? But there's a lot of question marks and very few answers, right? These are problems and things we're dealing with. You're getting mixed messages because now that the whole world is online and everybody's an expert all of a sudden, right? There's mixed messages from everybody. There's go fast, there's go slow, there's narrow niche, there's go wide, there's go deep, there's there's build a business online, there's build one in person in brick and mortar. Just about any message you put out there into the marketplace, there's at least one, if not a dozen other messages that are contrary, that are mixing up, and your buyers just do not know what or who to believe. Everybody's an expert, right? Cindy and I have been doing this for over a decade in this business model, generated hundreds of millions of dollars for our clients, done some amazing things. We've pioneered the done for you sales space. We were a lone ranger in that area for a while. Now there's people on every street corner. Three guys in a garage call themselves their organization. And from the outside looking in, you have no way of knowing how they're different than how we're different, right? And everybody, you've been doing what you do to incredible success. And there's some kid who's 20 years old who's doing it from his garage or in his mother's basement, and he's getting more of the leads, more of the business, and more of the opportunity than you. All of this stuff is out there. This is what you're dealing with, right? The main thing that we're seeing is that there is a severe lack of trust and certainty in the marketplace, and that is costing everybody. That's costing everybody. Um,
You're muted. You're muted. Yeah, I'll share. I went and got my hair done the other day, and my hairdresser was saying this is what happens when people get in her chair. She offers you a mimosa or a cappuccino. And she said people are literally overwhelmed with that decision, that she just has to quickly move on and go like, well, we have other more important decisions, like what we're going to do with your hair. So no more decisions, but it's really happening while you sit in, like, it's just nuts.
Yeah, so we it was obviously a bit of a joke, but that's what we're dealing with, right? I want to make fun of it here, but there's a lot of people with paralysis in from trying to make decisions, the decision fatigue. And the biggest part of that is that they don't know who to trust. They really don't know. They don't know how to make the right decision because with all the new things that are happening in the world and in the marketplace, it's almost impossible to tell what you need to do. And people just don't know. You're the expert of the problem you solve. They're not. So they don't know what are the best paths forward. They only know what they think that they want and what they expect you to be able to help them do about it. So what are some of the solutions that we are seeing with people? And my windows are moving all over the place here on me. Hang tight. There we go. So one of the things that people are always coming to me with is, how do I make my sales cycle shorter? How do I make sales faster? Right? How do we speed up the sales cycle? And the short answer is that's just the wrong answer. That's the wrong question. You don't want to be speeding up the sales cycle. The emphasis can't be on making it faster and making it shorter, because then you put yourself into some situations that we'll address coming up shortly here. But the thing that you want to be thinking about is that you want to have a better, stronger sales process and sales cycle, not a faster one, right? And at the end of the day, most people are never going to master sales. You're going to we don't want to, we want to put you in a position of trying to make that the mission, because who's been trying to master sales for some time? And let's get you all on video. As I get a complex if I can't see your faces. I want to know if you're actually working. I want to know if you're receiving, if you're doing. Make sure that you're diving in. If you're eating, that's okay, because you're not gonna spill anything on my table, only yours, so I'm good. No problem at all. The only thing I will say is if you are naked or anybody else in the room might be, then go ahead and get on off the video. Other than that, you're here with us. Let's rock and roll. Okay, so we just know that that is not the path. And how is it that we know? Well, because Cindy and I have been here at Gain the Edge. We have been in the done for you sales game for a decade plus, and we're blessed to generate nearly $500 million. Guys, do not mute all, because then that mutes me. It don't help. All right. So everybody, please make sure you go ahead and mute yourself when you're coming in right now. But we have, as a done for you sales agency, people came to us for a decade to say, hey, I need salespeople, I need sales teams, I need better sales results. And 100% of the time, whether they were 7, 8, or 9-figure company, did not matter. They were never ready for a sales team. They didn't have all the things that would make a sales team's job easy to produce. So we always had to come in and dig in and fine tune the offers, the processes, the systems, the strategies, everything that would make sales team's job easier and better so that they could get more sales in their business. And we are blessed to work with a lot of the who's who in the expert space in business. And a lot of names, faces you may recognize here, from Lisa Sachovich, Christian Michelson, and Elizabeth Purvis, Zig Ziglar Foundation, CEO Warrior, Charla and Jesse with Thrive, Catherine Porritt, and many, many more. These are all people that are in our world as partners, collaborators, and or clients in our world. And so we've been very blessed to see the things that happen in business at scale. And so everything that we bring to you is a byproduct of what we have learned along the way. We're not here to tell you what we think should happen. We're not here to share with you what we think the best philosophy, process, strategy is. We are literally here to show you and share with you what we know works, because we've done it. We've done it, we've seen it, we've helped implement it, or we've consulted on it, made it go. Well, everything we have that we share with you is firsthand information from things that we have made work. So we will always share you. Here's what we would do if we were in your shoes, but we're not going to say, this is what I think you should do, because there's a billion solutions and options out there. All I know is what we do works. And so you're in the right place if you want to really dial in and get more sales and get a business that will deliver you sales. So I'm going to jump into this here, and where did it go? All right, there we go. My screen's cooperating. And I want to let you know too, just a little bit about me and Cindy and who we are. And I came up in a challenging environment with the way I was raised, and a lot of abuse, and and just upbringing with a lot of, we'll say, violence and confusion in my childhood, which led me into foster care and in prison by 19. And I had to learn a lot of things about how to read the room and how to assess the environment around me, so I can really get people to lean in and found that influence and persuasion became my greatest weapon for protection. That was how I stayed alive. And spending my entire life as an entrepreneur and a business builder, building businesses and crashing businesses, I learned an awful lot about how to grow teams and how to get them to win and perform. And Cindy spent 25 years in the corporate retail management, working for Target, Old Navy, Mervyn stores, and she was a turnaround specialist, and she did some incredible things there. And she was the one that they would send in to go fix a bad store. And so she spent a lot of her time trying to get people who were minimum wage, people who were not committed to this as a career, to get them to overachieve and perform and produce at high levels so that the stores could win. And so she has done just incredible things with leadership and service. And something that we have in common and along the way, and that, I grew up the first 25 years of my life, I was fighting everybody for everything. And then when I met Cindy, I started recognizing for the first time that there was something in me that was actually good and lovable, because I didn't recognize that when I was growing up as a kid. And a lot of that was just God's presence in her. She grew up in a godly environment. And, what we have done in the last 25 years, leaning into Christ, I want to share with you just that this is who we are. We're not here. You're not at church, although we do always want you to feel the presence of God when you're with us. We're honest, integral, and full of blessing, and that's what we are here to do for you. And what this is a scripture section that really speaks to us, and it is part of our mission in who we are as a company, which is why I'm sharing it. And 2 Corinthians 9, 10, and 11. Now, he who supplies the seed to the sower and bread for food will also supply and increase your store of seed and will enlarge the harvest of your righteousness, right? And you will be enriched in every way so that you can be generous on every occasion. And through us, your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God. There's a lot of words in there, but what that really means, pretty simply, is that this is about building a life on principles. And principles, you'll hear a theme throughout this training today that we'll be talking about principles versus tactics, because principles never change. Tactics always change. Tactics change to meet the market and the demands and what's going on. But the principles are always tried and true. And the generosity principle says the sower of the seed stays blessed. Okay, and that's right in scripture, as you see. And we exist to equip the sowers of the seed. You are the sowers of the seed. You are the ones that deliver seed to the marketplace, to your clients, to the people that you serve. And we exist to equip you to be able to sell, to put more seed into the marketplace, sow more seed and reap more harvest, right? And part of that mission for us is that so that people in the world can be blessed and they can give praise to God. So you translate that however you need to, but that's what that means to us and what we are here to do. And it's important enough. I put a little visual model to it too, so you can see exactly what 2 Corinthians 9, 10, and 11 are really saying. Okay, it's just a cycle. Okay, God is the supplier of the seed. He supplies the seed, which is your gift, whatever gift you use to bless people with, right? And you are the sower. So gives you the seed to sow. And then the more you sow, you reap a harvest of impact and revenue and righteousness. And inside of that, you then he increases the storehouse. When the more you give of your gift and of your blessings, the more the storehouses that you have increase. That is the supply. That is the principle of generosity. That is how God works. He even says that it's the only thing he says in the Bible to test me on, right? And then he increases the storehouse supply, which then increases the fruit, your blessings. You make more with the intention that you can then enrich other people's lives and continue to bless more people, which then you become endlessly generous, continue to bless others so that they become grateful to God, and then they praise God. That's the cycle. And again, put it into your own words, but that is our mission. That's what drives us. I don't care about you making money. And I don't wake up in the middle of the night wondering if Joanne's making sales. I wake up in the middle of the night worrying about, is Joanne supplying seed? Is she growing? Is she reaping a harvest? Is she changing lives of people so that they can have immense gratitude and thankfulness and say, thank you, God, for Joanne being in my life. Thank you for what she's created, right? I look for that with Aaron, with Sandra, with whomever, all of you. I want you, that's what we are here for. Okay? And we exist to do this. And this is not a shooting our horn thing, but I wanted to highlight that, as there's not a lot of, most 7-8 figure entrepreneurs are busy, and we spent a lot of time in this world, and they're so busy. We've gotten to this place of the more money I make, the more guarded my time needs to be. And I want you to know that Cindy and I are not that way. We got where we are because we've helped people. And so we don't ever want to, I don't care how much zeros we have or in the bank or earn or our business grows to, they're always here for the person who's on mission, the person who is committed to be able to sow a lot of seed and reap a lot of harvest and continue to grow. And so we are here to share, because sometimes people go, well, why would you be sharing all this stuff? Why is this free, etc.? Because we want to equip you. We want to equip people so that you can be the sower of the seed and make magic things happen. All right. So type in the chat if you're tracking. Sarah, who's excited? Who is a seed sower in here? Type in the chat if you are sowing lots of seed and you want to be reaping lots of harvest. Okay. So welcome to Calm, Certain, and Closed, right? The two-step sales system to consistent high-value clients. That is the name of the game today. And over the next 70 minutes or so, we are going to help you win in this area. I want to make sure we're going to make a case for why you need a two-step solution in today's sales environment, what is needed to execute, and what you need to do to keep more people engaged longer in your world. Right? Then we'll walk away. Is that good? Is that helpful for you? Are you in the right place? Did you wander into the right room today? Make sure we're talking to my people. All right. So we're going to dive in here. And the focus is what I see all the time. This is something I say on a lot of stages and interviews, and I'm always saying this phrase. You only have two real paths to making more sales consistently. You can master becoming a sales rock star, or you can master structuring your world in such a way that sales happen. Was that clear? Type in the chat which one you prefer. Are you in for mastering sales and being a sales guru rock star and everything that accompanies mastering sales, or would you prefer that you have a life where sales happen? Okay. The reality is most of you will never become a sales expert, guru, rock star, because it's just not in the cards. It's not the easiest thing to do. And I am what a lot of people would call a sales rock star guru. And guess what? I still prefer option two. I always prefer structuring my world in such a way that sales happen. Right? That's where we want to make sure you guys are. So talking to the right place. There's not a pitch coming. Okay, this is, everybody who shows up on webinars and trainings like, okay, what's this guy going to sell me? What's he going to pitch me? And I just want you to know, we're not going to make a pitch. However, are we selling stuff? You bet you're behind we're selling stuff. We're always selling stuff, and you should always be selling stuff too. There should never be an environment where there's not an opportunity for people to move forward with you, and we want to role model that. So this is a process I'm going to show you right now. Again, we work with scaling companies. We work with people because we want to make sure that you are winning. We have tons of information and knowledge, insights, wisdom, strategies, tools, and resources that we are constantly sharing. If you follow us, we are putting videos on YouTube every week. We are putting videos and trainings inside Facebook groups. We are constantly pouring out content and knowledge because we want you to win. We want you to take it and apply it so that your business can grow. We stand for your business generating sales, not just you generating sales, but building a business that generates sales so that it's not always dependent upon you. And so everything we do is in service to making that happen. So what I would like to do, with your permission, if type it in the chat, share, if you're okay with us sharing just some of the ways that we work and some of the things that we have going on so that you can make a decision for yourself. Does any of this fit for you and make sense? Okay. Type in the share and we will do that. We want to do that with your permission. And this is also, I want you to pay attention because whenever we teach stuff, we train on sales strategies, we train on events, we train on webinars, we train people on how to grow their revenue. So everything that we do, I want you to ask yourself, why do we do it? Right? Learn, don't just take the content, learn why do we do what we do. And what I'm sharing with you right now is a concept we call an elephant in the room offer. Okay, so a lot of people, did anybody ever get nervous making an offer? Don't lie to me. All right. Anybody ever get nervous making an offer, whether it's on stage, in a presentation, whatever, there's always that moment where, okay, here comes the offer. Let's make sure everybody is ready for it. And if you don't, I would just say you're lying because I don't believe you. I think you've convinced yourself that that's the case because you don't want to have to look like it. But again, I've done thousands of presentations and it's not that I'm nervous about making the offer. It's I want it to land. I want to make sure the audience was ready. I want to make sure they were moved, right? So this is a way that you can overcome some of that. And instead of waiting for the pitch in the presentation, You just tell people, hey, yes, I know you're thinking, hey, what are they going to sell me? Well, I got news for you. I'm going to make an offer. I'm going to share it with you right now. And then I'm going to spend the next hour proving to you why you need it. I will quote that, write that down, take that, borrow it, steal it. You can have that one for free today. I highly recommend that you do that. And so that's what I'm going to do with your day. We're just going to take the next few minutes. I'm going to share some of the things we have going on and the ways that we support and work together and help people. And then you decide what you would like to do and set up a conversation for us to be able to help you. And we'll roll from there. All right. So let's rock. Okay. So the first thing that we do, again, because we've gained so much, and we're always learning and growing as we're adding to new client campaigns and things they're doing. And so we have what we call our growth series workshops, which is typically the fourth week of every month, which the fourth Wednesday of every month, which is today is the third one, I do believe, but that's because next week is Thanksgiving. But that's something that we do every month. And so the team will drop a link in the chat for you if you want to register for those, and you'll be in the know. You'll be notified every single time we have a workshop coming up, and there are growth series workshops. Every one of our workshops is designed on giving you skill sets and tools to make you more revenue. Okay, so please join in on that. If you opt in on that list, that is the only thing you will be opting into, and we will only message you accordingly. All right, so that's one way we can get it to you, and most of those are free. If they're not free, they're usually $37 or something like that, but that's not a money maker for us. It's a way to deliver as much value as we can to you and test a lot of strategies and processes that we are working on internally and with our clients. Okay. And I recommend you do something similar. Use that as a visibility play for your clients. Say, hey, here's something I'm working on. I want to share it with you. And it gives people excuse me, it gives people a more open taste of what you do. And then you also don't have to have it perfect when you're doing that. You just want to be able to share. Okay, next is the Profit Plan 2025. This is something we've been doing. I think this is our 6th year or 7th year doing it. And we basically, let me ask you this. Type in the chat. Who intends to make 6, 7, or 8 figures in 2025? Pick one, don't care which. Who intends to make them? Okay. Now, who's planning on making 6, 7, or 8 figures next year? All right. And who has a plan to make 6, 7, or 8 figures next year? I mean, has a plan, meaning it's done, it's on paper, it says, here's what I'm going to do, here's how much of what I'm going to sell, here's who I'm going to sell it to, here's where I'm going to find them, here's what I'm going to make happen. If that's you, right? Now all of a sudden a lot of hands go down besides my man Adrian. So this is what this plan is about. And 2025 is a pivotal, crucial year. There's so much upheaval and craziness in the marketplace. We don't know what's going on. I know for a fact that as the economy moves, as inflation and all the craziness in the economy and in the landscape happens, there's a lot of people, the uncertainty is only going to get higher. And people are going to be more indecisive and less trusting to buy, which means you need to have a clear plan and a strategy, and someone's going to hold you accountable to it to make sure that you win in 2025. That is our intention, is to help as many people as possible, many seed sowers be able to sow that seed and reap a great harvest. And we want you to be there with us. So please join us in that. And for the profit plan, we have 2 dates coming up. We do it in December for those who are planning for 2025. And then we do it in January for those who forgot to plan for 2025. But either way, make sure you get ahead of it right now if you please, and join us there. There is a link. It is a $297 price point. Gotta unmute yourself. Gabby, can you unmute her?
So this is how it works when Jim and I do training together. He does 90% of it, and I pop in when I feel like it and when I have something to share. So the Edge Profit Planning for 2025 is going to be an amazing training. And because you're all here, you get $100 off. So you have GTE bucks. And so we'll be sharing that. I'm sure I just busted Jim's bubble right now. And but we'll make sure that you have that code so that you register that with your bucks.
Yes, yes. So yeah, we'll get to the GTE bucks in just a minute. Did everybody get their GTE bucks in your email? Everybody, did everybody check their emails? Okay, so we sent them in your email. We'll get to it in a moment, but we gave everybody $100 GTE bucks. I'll share what those are in a moment. And again, something that everybody here should have, some sort of digital currency as incentive and tools and toys to play with. But they were in your email. We also sent you a voicemail drop that pointed you to the email. And we sent you a text with a video message saying, go check your email. So get it together. You got this, okay? But it's good information too. Pay attention. This is what you do is what other people will also do. So don't be surprised when people aren't opening your emails, especially if you're not. So make sure that you get that in play. All right. So we're going to get you registered for that. But what we did was we gave you $100 GTE bucks so that you have incentive. We want to give you something to play with so you can put it towards purchases and services here at Gain the Edge. All right. The next thing that I want to put in front of you, and we'll kind of dive into some content here, is our SOAR 2025 membership, right? SOAR is about sales, offers, action, and revenue. Sales foundations, making compelling offers, creating strategic action, and mastering revenue. Does anybody need that in 2025? You need to make sure that you are making sales, offers, staying action, and generating revenue every day at a better level than you need it. My guess is you do, or you wouldn't be here on this training. So we have opportunities for you to be able to get in that. It is a small group consulting environment, and it's not a coaching world. It's not like much anything else that we've seen out there, and we intend it that way. We're not here to teach you stuff. We are here to hold you accountable to making sales and then equipping you with the things you need to make those sales happen. So we're holding you accountable. Are you making offers? Are you making presentations? We're not just showing up and talking heads every week. We're moving you, and it's not always comfortable. Okay. So it's something you can have a conversation with us about. Our SOAR mentorship is our SOAR membership with one-on-one strategic support. And we only work with 15 people in that spot, and we only have 3 spots remaining. So if that's something you might be interested in, then book a conversation to talk with us. There should be somebody dropping a link in there today. And we already made a decision that if there was gonna be less than 50 people in the training today, that everybody would go on my calendar, not to talk to team or anybody else. You'll all talk to me because I want to make sure I'm connecting with all of you. So you get on the link, get on the booking calendar, and we opened up our calendar today. I have no appointments beyond this today because I'm here for you. So I highly recommend you get on the call because we're going to be also being able to unpack some of the things that we talk about today as soon as we move through this part. Okay, next is compelling and converting offers coming in February. It's going to be a 2.5-day training where you will build, design, walk away with some incredible offers so that you can entice the most premium people in your world and make great deals happen and have a clear, connected strategy to make sure that you are making powerful, impacted, connected offers, which is an area that I see a lot of people struggle. So we want to help you with that. So just know that that is coming in 2025. And again, talk to us about it. We'll make sure you have the details. And then something that we are launching is our Deal Maker Advisory. And we'll anybody interested in landing a 6-figure client, raise your hand. Are you open to it? If you go, I'm not sure, then that's probably what God's going to return. That's what the universe will reward. If you say, heck yes, if I figure out the right way, the right offer to put in front of the right people, I'm down for it. Okay. Deal Maker Advisory is going to be specifically focusing on helping you put deals together to get in front of those clients and even helping you convert, negotiate, and navigate those deals to make them happen. We want you winning at the greatest level. The bigger problems you solve, the more problems you solve, the more revenue you make, the greater harvest that there is, and everybody is winning. And so that is what we are here to help you do, right? So the Deal Maker Advisory. And then of course we do VIP strategic days. We are now booking for Q1 and Q2. We only do 2 of them a month, but we will spend a half day to a full day with you, just diving deep into your strategy, your offers, your sales process. All of these, everything is either you register for the 2-day training that has its own link, register for the growth series workshops, or get on my calendar so we can talk about any of these other ones. There is no link for any of these others. You can't sign up for them. You have to talk to us, and we have to see if you're a fit and what will make that, what will work for you. So VIP strategic days, again, we only do 2 of those a month, and people were, especially this time of year, people are starting to think about that. So if you are interested in that, reach out, book a time to get on my calendar today. Let's talk about this so that you can get something planned for January or February while it's still available, and then, or just later into the year. But you can't wait until March and say, yeah, let's do one for plan for Q2, because by then we'll be booking probably into Q3 and Q4. So you need to get planful ahead of time. All right. And then we also do high-end consulting, looking for businesses that are trying to scale, grow, do some big things in the world. And we only work with a handful of those at a time, 2 to 3, because we can't have a big bandwidth of X that requires our direct focus, insight, and partnership on your business. So again, we have one opening right now for, we have 2 short-term clients, which are 90-day engagements, and then one for an annual client. So we have a lot of things, a lot of ways that we are helping this. Those are all the ways that we can provide resources and structure to you, and make sure that you're winning. And so get on the calendar so we can talk about what fits for you. And that's everybody. Everyone's on the call. Everybody who's in SOAR, everybody who's not, everybody who's thinking about it. Bottom line is, this is the time to start planning for winning in 2025. And these are the ways that we can help you do it. And we are honored to do so. All right. So here's the GTE Bucks. All right. GTE Bucks is something that we created a few years ago. We call it's our digital dollars. Who's got digital dollars of your own? Who's got your own? You have Lisa Bucks, you got Sasha Bucks, right? You got Melinda Bucks, right? Everybody should have your own version of digital dollars. It's a fantastic way to both gamify and honor people and reward people to be able to take actions. And there's some funny, crazy stuff that happens in our mind. But that when we have dollars in our pocket, we want to spend them. And people don't typically leave without spending them. They want to use them because they're like, oh, I got these money, I got to do it. Okay, good. Well, good job. Yeah, that's something we've been challenging our clients to do all the time. You should have them. We do them in these denominations, right? 100, 300, 500, and 1,000. And we incentivize. We're starting to add them to everything. We love to give away GTE bucks. We want to give you as much incentive as humanly possible to take action to solve your problems, even if we got to trick you to do it, which is what we're doing. This is an ethical bribe. Okay, and this is real money in our business. Now, if you could take it to the grocery store and make it work, let me know, because I haven't figured that one out yet. But it's real dollars here. Anybody in our, any of our clients vouch for that, right? You spent GTE bucks here, and it discounts your money. It applies directly to the balance. Okay. And so we want to make sure that you have it. So everybody here has $100 GTE bucks in your bank, in your inbox. So it's there right now. We also going to give away today, over the next hour, a $500 GTE buck and 1,000. So who's interested? Who wants to win some money? Who wants some GTE bucks? Okay. So here's the first thing I want you to introduce you to is today. Anybody who books an appointment today and gets on the calendar today, and then today your dollar values are doubled. So you got GTE bucks and you get in a conversation with us today, and you're going to sign up for a solution, a program, service, dollar values are double.
Who remembers coupons, grocery stores? Your coupons were worth double on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I'm old. I remember that. And I'm totally laughing. Where's Dr. Saima? She knows when you're part of our community and you wear some Gain the Edge swag, you just might win some additional GTE bucks to use them for future investments. So awesome job. Thank you, Dr. Saima.
Yes. So we do a lot of that. We have our Gain the Edge swag. We have our awesome, amazing water bottles. We have our Gain the Edge hats and shirts and supplies. And we like to give this stuff away. And when you show up in the tribe with your gear, then yeah, we have been known to say, oh, Dr. Saima just earned $100 GTE bucks, right? Just because she showed up flying the colors, right? So you can increase tribe community growth around that as well. And Lisa, I don't understand the question, but you can use them for other things. So yeah, okay, I'll let Cindy answer that in the chat. Okay, here's another way. Here's one way that you can earn the $500 today. Anything you're capturing today, as we start jumping into this, because we're going to move into some of the why and the what now, is with the hashtag, use the hashtag GTE two-step, hashtag GTE two-step, and post any ahas, takeaways, pictures, images, lessons from what you're doing right now. Whoever captures the most is going to get $500. So we'll be checking out the hashtag and we'll be giving away $500 GTE bucks to whoever posts the most. Or if you just post a blow away, awesome, great, rock, mind blowing share, and we're the judges on it. So whatever influences us is always a good thing. And so Cindy will be looking at that and team will be keeping track of that. All right. So yeah, post on Facebook or on LinkedIn. And so that people can see what's up. And so thank you. Good question, Dr. Robert. Okay. All right. So you guys ready to rock and roll? The other thing is if you get on video and stay on video to the end, then you also will be eligible for a GTE bucks. If you're off camera, then that's up to you. It's a crapshoot from there. Two-step. Two-step with a 1S, or excuse me, no S, two-step. So any questions you have, type them in the chat. There'll be, we had everybody muted so that you can't just unmute yourself and talk, because I am notorious for going down rabbit holes if you got questions, and then we never get to the end and it becomes a 3-hour training. I can already tell you we'll probably go over by 10 or 15 minutes. And if who's okay with that if we do. If we're rocking. Okay. And we'll also, just so you know, I will stay till the end for everybody's questions to be answered. So we will answer a question. There will be 1 or 2 places in the middle. I might stop for some question, for some clarity. But other than that, I'll answer as many questions as you have when we wrap up. Okay. And I won't leave until your question is handled. Two-step singular, Lisa. Thanks. All right. So again, why 2 steps? Why is the 2-step process or even a thing? Why are we talking about it? Again, principles don't change, tactics do. Principles, people need to see and hear you. People need to feel your presence. People need to buy from you trust and certainty. Does everybody understand that whatever you think you're selling, what you're really selling is trust and certainty? Okay. That is your number 1 product offering. Doesn't matter what you're selling, what industry, what niche, what product, what vertical, what client, you are selling certainty. They buy your certainty before they buy anything else. And that is the most enriched ingredient in the entire process. Your tactics can change based on what are all of those? What are the things you need to do to deliver that certainty so that people can see and hear you, and they need to feel your presence. All right. So this is something that is a reality right now too, is that most calls today take too long. They take too long, especially anybody in the coaching world. There's something about the coaching transformational space where everybody's giving themselves permission to do these long maneuvering, meandering conversations with people, because we were trying to get people to admit their own decisions and their own commitments and do all this stuff. It's like a sales conversation is not a coaching conversation. A sales conversation is a conversation for commitment and decision. It is an exchange of energy. You are not here to be in a marathon sessions. You are here to get people to decision point. When they make decisions, their lives change. When you show up as the person who helps them make the decision, your life changes and your business and company grows. So the key thing is it takes too long. We're giving people far too much time. The more time they have, the harder it is for people to make decisions. Don't fool yourselves. If you think I'm just one of those people who take time, no, that's somebody who is indecisive. That is somebody who doesn't know how to make the decision. So you're trying to find ways to make yourself feel better about the decision you're making. Okay. Decisive action is everything. Okay. You're giving too much room. And the longer you're talking to people, the more words they have to process, the less decisive they will be. Fact. Our brain, the more it processes, the less it is able to index and ideate. All right. So type in the chat just real quick. How long are your calls taking on average? 1 hour, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is. Just type it in. People need certainty. Okay, they need certainty. They need clarity of what you're doing. And the more premium offer that you are putting on the table, the less time you need because you're dealing with people who have a better idea of the decisions they're trying to make, and they just need clarity and direction and certainty. We've enrolled six-figure clients in less than 30 minutes because they knew what they wanted. We are clearly positioned the outcome. They show up knowing what they think they want. We show up knowing how to ask the right questions to get to a solution quickly, and everybody is moving forward. Right. So I want to always entice you guys, keep thinking about premium offers and buyers because they buy more, they buy easier, and they're far less challenging to work with. Okay. Um, Here's something that we have seen, especially since COVID. People just need more touch, more time, and more incentive to buy. They need more touch, more time, more incentive to buy. Type that in chat, guys. Write this stuff down. You need to be capturing this. They need more touch, more time, and more incentive. More touch, more time, and more incentive. Now, this doesn't mean in the conversation necessarily. It means engaging with you and your brand. What I want you to start thinking about is the fact that whenever they touch any part of your company, they're touching you. If they talk to your team, they're talking to you. If they engage a video, they are engaging you. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are giving people many ways and opportunities in different environments for them to be able to touch you. Okay, more touch, more time, more incentive. Daniel Priestley made this famous, but he didn't invent it. The concept is 7-11-4. Write it down, 7-11-4. Type it in the chat. Okay, 7 hours, 11 touches over 4 platforms. If you can engage people for 7 hours, 11 platforms, or excuse me, 11 touches over 4 platforms, you're going to win. People will buy. Do you have a plan to meet those demands? Do you have a strategy that gives you those demands, that gives you that opportunity? Okay, that's again why we're here. So if you don't, book a conversation and let's talk about how do we get those into your process. Okay. Also, one of the things we're going to address here today is going to kill the myth of the one call close. In our world, we deal with closers all the time. And man, they're an interesting breed of people. They all think that they're pretty special. And I know because I are one. And there's this air of entitlement, and everybody believes that they are doing more than they are. And bottom line is, I've seen an awful lot of really great closers be made very average because they're in an environment where people don't know them, don't have there's nothing in front that is leading to them being clear, certain, and active that this is the right place to be able to make the decision. There's not good qualification on the front end. There's not good processes and sales systems on the back end. And all of a sudden you have somebody who needs to rely on all of their depth of skill set just to be average, just to convert at a decent rate. But when you put a great person who's equipped well with a great environment, a great process, great system, talking to the right people, making the right offers that are aligned, all of a sudden everybody consistently and predictably overachieves. We have made a career of developing that. Okay, so you don't have to be that closer. And there's 2 things in play. 10% of the people who buy from you, they were going to buy anyway. It had nothing to do with how great you were in the sales process. Right? They were going to buy because they needed this problem solved, and you just didn't shoot yourself in the foot, so they bought. And praise God for that. Hallelujah. I will take as many of those as I can get. Okay. The rest then come on how well the system is designed, how well the journey is curated, and how well you're positioned and everything around it. Okay. Now here's the thing. You might be thinking, don't buy that stuff, Jim. No problem. You don't have to. But I will tell you this. I heard this quote from Ayn Rand. You can ignore reality. You just can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Okay? You can make up whatever you think is real, and it don't freaking matter because reality is going to hit you in the face. The reality is exactly what we're talking about here. Okay. So we have seen people talk about setters, triage calls, pre-qualification calls, info sessions, SDRs, sales development reps, marketing development reps, a lot of this stuff has been around a long time, and a lot of it's new in the wild, wild west of the online marketing space, which never existed before. Bottom line is, I don't care what you call it. I would love to know which one of these have you utilized. Type in the chat. Have you used setters, triage calls? Have you been the setter? Or have you set your own calls? Have you done pre-qualification calls on your own? Do you do info sessions? Have you been in SDR? Have you been in MDR? Or have you utilized them? Okay. Bottom line is, it doesn't matter what you do with them or what you call them. It matters the way that you show up on them, because you need a closer vibe. There's something that I don't understand in the sales game, and everybody typically like, I'm a closer, he's a setter. Well, and typically the setter is positioned as the lesser capable person whose job is to feed the closer. I got news for you. That is ridiculous and largely ineffective. Okay. We are the closer, quote unquote. Okay. When this conversation is doing a lot of the preparation for the closing so that we get on a conversation. And when it goes to a sales team member, 90% of the questions and the challenges have been answered. So when you get on a call, it's like, well, what did you hear Jim say that made you believe that? What did you hear Jim say that can help, that made you think that you can grow your business faster this way, right? So they already heard it. They got it. The person on the back end is just connecting the dots and positioning the details of the offer. When we work events, live events, which we do, we've done hundreds of. When we have our sales team in place, which people have hired us hundreds of times to come to their events and put their events together and to convert for them, we don't put the closers in the back of the room. We put the closers in the room, and we put order takers in the back of the room. And when I had my alarm company, I did the same thing. We worked trade shows, home shows, fairs, and I would work the crowd and send people to the booth. Hey, you need to talk to Ignacio. You need to talk to Thomas. They'll take care of you and get it done. But I'm qualifying them in the crowd and then handing them off for details of the offer. So you want to be thinking about that, because before they will ever get to the opportunity call, they first need to be in a qualification conversation. They need to be in a qualification conversation. All right. And so you have to be thinking about that in that space. When you get into a qualification conversation, it also forces you into clear, direct communication. It's designed to be a more microwaved environment. You don't have time. It's for you as much as it is for them. You don't have time to be fluff and stuff. You need to get to the heart of the matter. You got to get to the place where decisions are being made and things are being done. All right. Let me share this one with you real quick. The point of this video is to see just the confidence, the simplicity, the directness. Here's the power of the presentation. They'll take your orders in the back. Let's go have some martinis and champagne or whatever. I don't even know what the drinks were, right? But he was leaving the details to other people. He's showing up saying, I know what you want and I got what you want. And here it is. Let's do business. Cindy,
the other thing I want to bring up is when you're doing the two-step close, you're also the buyer. You're not just the seller, right? You are buying into and qualifying the person that's on the other end of the phone or on the Zoom. Do you want to work with them? Can you work with them? Are they at a space and a place where you can actually do your best work, right? So you're the buyer and the seller in these conversations.
Correct. Which is great timing because that's where we're headed now. So that's what this model is about. So we've been very blessed, and I say this all the humility and gratitude in the world. We have spent an insane amount of time with clients and partners and colleagues that are all millionaires and billionaires, and people who have done incredible things in the world. And there are some things that are indisputable in common traits throughout all these people who've succeeded very well. And I like to include us among them. The capability to read the room. There's the skill, the drill, and the outcome. The skill is in this outer circle. The capability to read the room, to assess the opportunity, to ask great questions, speak the truth in love, and move swiftly. Okay. When you read the room well, you are certain beyond what logic tells you. I heard that phrase somewhere once. I can't remember, but I love the way that's positioned. Your certainty defies logic. Logic will tell you, I don't know, maybe I should think, but your certainty says no, beyond logic. I know what's real. I know what works. I know what is necessary here, right? And you know how to trust your instincts. You know what you need in order to provide a win. We deliver great results with our clients because we know who we serve. And too many people are serving whoever will pay them because we need a paycheck. And that will always keep you at the mercy of a mediocre business and will always cost you more, right? So reading the room helps you get to a place of clear direction. You know exactly where you're going. Assessing the opportunity is about being certain about them, who you're playing, who them, like Cindy was just saying, about them, their problem, the solution, the situation, knowing what's going on. When you are absolutely certain about what you need to know about them, you know if they fit and if they don't. Okay, clear lines are drawn. I can help you if you are here. I can't help you if you are here. I can help you if you do these things, but if you not do these things. Okay, asking great questions. Again, all of these are skill sets that if you need to really assess and evaluate, I would say there's opportunity for all of us to always optimize. But if you master these things, your whole entire life will change. Your whole world will open up. You will literally live a life of your own design. Okay, learn how to ask great questions. You will be absolutely certain about the things you need to know, the things you need to ask. You'll know exactly how to ask a question that will deliver the responses you need, and you will always assess the clear fit. Then speaking truth in love. This is a powerful tool that most people just absolutely dispossess. Most people are so afraid of hurting people's feelings, they will never tell the truth, or they will use 5,000 words to say what they should have said in 10 words. And people don't feel it, don't understand it, don't align with it. When you can speak the truth that says, nope, this is not an opportunity for you, or I wish you well, but I can't do this, or you can do this if you do that, like you know exactly how to communicate and articulate a very clear, powerful message for somebody that resonates so that you can win with them in your world. Okay, which then delivers clear objectives. And then you have to be able to move swiftly. Okay, as an expert, when you can take the swift and decisive actions and inspire that in people, you get clear commitment, or what we call certainty. They buy when they get certainty from you, right? So that's the skill, the drill, and the outcome. You're going to have this chart. This is going to come to you. I had a my mom's been married, like I think she's on her sixth marriage. God bless her. She's done all she could. She came up in a rough way, but she has managed to survive and thrive and live a kick butt life with a lot of potholes. But I had many quote unquote father figures around the home. Just there was a lot of men. There was a guy who came through named DJB was his initials. I won't give any more, but he worked for Army Intelligence. And I was young. I was 4, 5, 6 years old when he was around. And he used to say stuff all the time to me, like the mind. It's always about the power of the mind. Protect the mind and you always win. Because the intelligence game is about here. The whole world goes through the brain. And he used to say intake, index, and ideate. I didn't really understand it a lot when I was little, but I thought about it over time. And the concept is that your brain can't take information in, index on information, and strategize the information at the same time. Those are all 3 separate things that your brain does not do them simultaneously. So when you're taking in information, you have to be able to receive it. Then you are able to index it. So the information comes in and it starts finding the spots where it's supposed to be. Then you ideate. Now everything gets where it's supposed to go and you can assimilate. Now you can make ideas, strategy, feedback. You make wonderful decisions. You derive wisdom. And that's, I'm sharing that because that's what this concept about. I was really leaning into that. I've also done a lot of research on, I'm a big follower of Navy SEALs, Green Berets, CIA agent. I love the inner game of how these elite performers win at high levels and do the things that they do. And so I study this a lot. But here's the objective. Okay, this document you guys will get a copy of when we're done. You'll have a PDF form of this. This will frame your 2-step conversation. This will frame your qualification portion of the conversation. The objective is to move people to clear direction, for you to have clear direction, clear lines, right? Find a clear fit, have clear objectives for them, and you deliver certainty. extract certainty, make sure they feel certainty. And this is what we're trying for. Okay. You're trying to determine at the end of the day, whoops. We're trying to determine at the end of the day, is this somebody that you can win with? What are they able to do? What are they willing to do? What makes this time different? And will they seize the moment? Because just because somebody has recognized that they have a problem doesn't mean they're ready to do something about it. There's an awful lot of people suffering in silence because they don't want to get out of their own way. Because sometimes people enjoy pain. It's how it's better than not feeling anything. And that's the only thing they're used to. So they prefer to own that. And so you have to be careful of what you allow into your world. And you have to get them to a place of moving, take action on the opportunity. So there are questions inside of this that you can use to answer, or excuse me, to ask. So this is a triage conversation template. Triage conversation, write this down, type in the chat. 15-minute is the goal. 15 minutes is the goal. If it's taking you 30 minutes or longer, you're not in control of it and you're not moving with purpose. Your first few, you might take 30 minutes or more. Okay, 15 minutes. I want everybody to type in the chat 15 minutes. So we're not going to go through these questions. They're there for you. And they don't have to be these questions, but these are the theme. And if you have something different, then we can certainly, talk about it when those come up for you. But there are 4 questions. The 4 things, they're not questions. They're things that I have 4 points that I was going to put on here, and we'll probably give you another document with those. But I wanted to speak them to you. Okay. I spend a lot of time studying compliance because regulation and taxation are the 2 biggest killers of business. And the more we are in alignment, right? One of the fastest ways to go out of business is have a big old bill to the government because you've done something wrong and poorly. And the FTC has just increased their budget by $1 billion. Anybody have an idea what that means? That means they're going to hire more people and deploy more resources to catch the online marketing world, which in their minds was never a thing before. And now all of a sudden is a thing. And they're going to capture everybody saying a lot of wrong things. And we're not going to go into that training today. I have a lot more around that. We'll dive into that with the 2-day strategic plan so that your plan will also deliver you a compliant, risk-free strategy and plan. However, here's the key points when you are calling people on a call. If you open up a conversation with somebody to have a sales call and that call ever gets audited by the FTC, here's the 4 things they want to hear on the front end of that call. Write them down. Somebody type them in the chat as well. Okay. Number 1, who I am. 2, where I'm from. 3, why I'm calling. And 4, how did I get your permission? Who I am, where I'm from, why I'm calling, and how did I get your permission? And that would go something simple like, hey, this is Jim with Gain the Edge. I'm calling to talk to you about your strategic plan for 2025. You registered for this conversation after our webinar. Permission. I'm very clear. There's no deception. I've opened this up. You know where you came from. You know why we're calling, in case you forgot all of that. And now I have not falsely represented anything. Just the confidence, the simplicity, the directness. Here's the power of the presentation. They'll take your orders in the back. Let's go have some martinis and champagne or whatever. I don't even know what the drinks were, right? But he was leaving the details to other people. He's showing up saying, I know what you want and I got what you want. And here it is. Let's do business. Cindy, what you got?
The other thing I want to bring up is when you're doing the 2-step close, you're also the buyer. You're not just the seller. Right? You are buying into and qualifying the person that's on the other end of the phone or on the Zoom. Do you want to work with them? Can you work with them? Are they at a space and a place where you can actually do your best work? Right? So you're the buyer and the seller in these conversations.
Correct. Which is great timing because that's where we're headed now. So that's what this model is about. So we've been very blessed. And I say this all the humility and gratitude in the world. We have spent an insane amount of time with clients and partners and colleagues that are all millionaires and billionaires. and people have done incredible things in the world. And there are some things that are indisputable in common traits throughout all of these people who've succeeded very well. And I like to include us among them. The capability to read the room. There's the skill, the drill, and the outcome. The skill is in this outer circle. The capability to read the room, to assess the opportunity, to ask great questions, speak the truth in love, and move swiftly. Okay. When you read the room well, you are certain beyond what logic tells you. I heard that phrase somewhere once. I can't remember, but I love the way that's positioned. Your certainty defies logic. Logic will tell you, I don't know, maybe I should think, but your certainty says no, beyond logic. I know what's real. I know what works. I know what is necessary here, right? And you know how to trust your instincts. You know what you need in order to provide a win. We deliver great results with our clients because we know who we serve. And too many people are serving whoever will pay them because we need a paycheck. And that will always keep you at the mercy of a mediocre business and will always cost you more, right? So reading the room helps you get to a place of clear direction. You know exactly where you're going. Assessing the opportunity is about being certain about them, who you're playing, who them, like Cindy was just saying, about them, their problem, the solution, the situation, knowing what's going on. When you are absolutely certain about what you need to know about them, you know if they fit and if they don't. Okay, clear lines are drawn. I can help you if you are here. I can't help you if you are here. I can help you if do these things, but if you not do these things. Okay, asking great questions. Again, all of these are skill sets that if you need to really assess and evaluate, I would say there's opportunity for all of us to always optimize. But if you master these things, your whole entire life will change. Your whole world will open up and you will literally live a life of your own design. Okay, learn how to ask great questions. You will be absolutely certain about the things you need to know, the things you need to ask. You'll know exactly how to ask a question that will deliver the responses you need, and you will always assess the clear fit. Then speaking truth in love. This is a powerful tool that most people just absolutely dispossess. Most people are so afraid of hurting people's feelings, they will never tell the truth, or they will use 5,000 words to say what they should have said in 10 words. And people don't feel it, don't understand it, don't align with it. When you can speak the truth that says, nope, this is not an opportunity for you, or I wish you well, but I can't do this, or you can do this if you do that. Like, you know exactly how to communicate and articulate a very clear, powerful message for somebody that resonates so that you can win with them in your world. Okay, which then delivers clear objectives. And then you have to be able to move swiftly. Okay, as an expert, when you can take the swift and decisive actions and inspire that in people, you get clear commitment, or what we call certainty. They buy when they get certainty from you, right? So that's the skill, the drill, and the outcome. You're going to have this chart. This is going to come to you. I had a my mom's been married, like, I think she's on her sixth marriage. God bless her. She's done all she could. She came up in a rough way, but she has managed to survive and thrive and live a kick butt life with a lot of potholes. But I had many quote unquote father figures around the home. Just there was a lot of men. There was a guy who came through named DJB was his initials. I won't give any more, but he worked for Army Intelligence, and I was young. I was 4, 5, 6 years old when he was around. And he used to say stuff all the time to me, like, the mind, it's always about the power of the mind. Protect the mind and you always win. Because the intelligence game is about here. The whole world goes through the brain. And he used to say intake, index, and ideate. I didn't really understand it a lot when I was little, but I thought about it over time. And the concept is that your brain can't take information in, index on information, and strategize the information at the same time. Those are all 3 separate things that your brain does not do them simultaneously. So when you're taking in information, you have to be able to receive it. Then you are able to index it. So the information comes in and it starts finding the spots where it is supposed to be. Then you ideate. Now everything gets where it's supposed to go, and you can assimilate. Now you can make ideas, strategy, feedback. You make wonderful decisions. You derive wisdom. And that's, I'm sharing that because that's what this concept about. I was really leaning into that. I've also done a lot of research on, I'm a big follower of Navy SEALs, Green Berets, CIA agent. I love the inner game of how these elite performers win at high levels and do the things that they do. And so I study this a lot. But here's the objective. Okay, this document you guys will get a copy of when we're done. You'll have a PDF form of this. This will frame your two-step conversation. This will frame your qualification portion of the conversation. The objective is to move people to clear direction, for you to have clear direction, clear lines, right? Find a clear fit, have clear objectives for them, and you deliver certainty, extract certainty, make sure they feel certainty. And this is what we're trying for, okay? You're trying to determine at the end of the day, we're trying to determine at the end of the day, is this somebody that you can win with? What are they able to do? What are they willing to do? What makes this time different? And will they seize the moment? Because just because somebody has recognized that they have a problem doesn't mean they're ready to do something about it. There's an awful lot of people suffering in silence because they don't want to get out of their own way. Because sometimes people enjoy pain. It's how it's better than not feeling anything. And that's the only thing they're used to. So they prefer to own that. And so you have to be careful of what you allow into your world. And you have to get them to a place of moving, take action on the opportunity. So there are questions inside of this that you can use to answer, or excuse me, to ask. So this is a triage conversation template. Triage conversation, write this down, type in the chat. 15-minute is the goal. 15 minutes is the goal. If it's taking you 30 minutes or longer, you're not in control of it and you're not moving with purpose. Your first few, you might take 30 minutes or more. Okay, 15 minutes. I want everybody to type in the chat 15 minutes. So we're not going to go through these questions. They're there for you. And they don't have to be these questions, but these are the theme. And if you have something different, then we can certainly, talk about it when those come up for you. But there are 4 questions. The 4 things, they're not questions. They're things that I have 4 points that I was going to put on here, and we'll probably give you another document with those. But I wanted to speak them to you. Okay. I spend a lot of time studying compliance because regulation and taxation are the 2 biggest killers of business. And the more we are in alignment, right? One of the fastest ways to go out of business is have a big old bill to the government because you've done something wrong and poorly. And the FTC has just increased their budget by $1 billion. Anybody have an idea what that means? That means they're going to hire more people and deploy more resources to catch the online marketing world, which in their minds was never a thing before. And now all of a sudden is a thing. And they're going to capture everybody saying a lot of wrong things. And we're not going to go into that training today. I have a lot more around that. We'll dive into that with the 2-day strategic plan so that your plan will also deliver you a compliant, risk-free strategy and plan. However, here's the key points when you are calling people on a call. If you open up a conversation with somebody to have a sales call and that call ever gets audited by the FTC, here's the 4 things they want to hear on the front end of that call. Write them down. Somebody type them in the chat as well. Okay. Number 1, who I am. 2, where I'm from. 3, why I'm calling. And 4, how did I get your permission? Who I am, where I'm from, why I'm calling, and how did I get your permission? And that would go something simple like, hey, this is Jim with Gain the Edge. I'm calling to talk to you about your strategic plan for 2025. You registered for this conversation after our webinar. Permission. I'm very clear. There's no deception. I've opened this up. You know where you came from. You know why we're calling, in case you forgot all of that. And now I have not falsely represented anything. Okay. So just keep those in mind for you, for your team, for whomever. All right. I want to keep rolling. Okay. You'll get this form as a PDF. Okay. So make sure you have those, write them down, tape them to your forehead, staple them to your hand, do something. Do not forget. The likelihood is that you never get audited. But when they add $1 billion to their budget, $1 billion hires a lot of agents, opens a lot of offices, creates a lot of things. And it's because this whole new world of online marketing is totally new to them. And they are diving in because they're starting to recognize there's a lot of things that people are doing wrong. And they are actually trying to protect the consumer. And so it is our job to comply and figure it out, make it work. Okay. What are they willing to do? Yes. All right. So clear, clear. Let's make that go. And also, I had this perspective that because we're small, there's billion-dollar corporations out there. They're not looking for us. They're looking for us. They're looking for anybody violating customers. They are advocate for the customer. And believe it or not, I mean, they pay, I know a few people who have paid 6 and 7-figure fines, and 90% of those fines go to the end user. They're trying to reimburse people for pain and damages. That is what they're doing. So it does make it a bit of at least a worthy cause. It's not just a government entity putting the finger on to screw you. Okay, so this is the conversation. This is what I showed the Iron Man video on this. This is when you communicate clearly, succinctly, directly, and you're delivering, you're assessing, is this somebody you can win with? What are they able to do? What are they willing to do? What makes this time different? That's a big one. Why this time? You've talked to a lot of people before and you still haven't changed a thing. Why this time? Why now? Right? And will they seize the moment? When you can embody this, you start having direction, clarity, certainty, movement, and you start qualifying people in the call. And then you start building systems around it so that they're more qualified before they ever reach the call, so that then you start getting greater results from there. Okay. So good stuff. We will get that to you. I wanted to also highlight that everything we're doing is about creating a journey. So this conversation, a two-step process, is a journey. We teach a mountaintop experience. If you're in our world, you have one of these, or you will. And this is about where are you leading people to? What is the mountaintop experience of transformation and solution in your world? And how are you leading them there? And that's how you keep people in your world longer, for years, and get much more lifetime value and service, and build a community of people that you can grow solutions and business and a movement with, right? And the two-step process is just one little sliver of that community. Okay, so the ways that the journey can look can vary immensely. It can go from like a webinar to a call. It can go from we have a few massage therapists and wellness experts in here. It can go from a treatment to a call. Go from a treatment to a presentation. Right. The main thing is that you are always needing to connect the dots between those journeys. Okay, it can go from the stage to the back of the room. That's a two-step process. It can go from a webinar to a call. It can go from a message to a call. It can go from delivering somebody a quote to a call. You can fill it in with a million different ways. Somebody was reaching out to me because they're an insurance agent. Quote, same thing. It's just a matter of the main thing you're thinking about is what do they need to know now? What do they need to know to make the decision? And how do you architect the journey on those? On the points, the journey between the 2 points. That is your responsibility. Okay. So when you do that, life wins. Okay. You're controlling the journey from end to end. And so, yes, well, like I think I mentioned this in the Facebook thread the other day, Lisa, it's good that you go to a follow-up. What I'm saying now is you need to be the navigator, the orchestrator of what happens between those moments. So they go home and have something specific to do. Specific to consume? Do you want them to fill something out, watch a video, take an action, fill an assessment, right? We have a friend named Ben with a company called Linked Selling, Josh Turner's company that we worked with years ago, one of the best clients, one of the best done-for-you clients we ever supported. And they're doing marketing for companies. They have a client that's doing we'll call them whole house fans, but huge warehouse fans for like Amazon warehouses. And they sell these $700,000 machines, whatever. And it's a 6-month sales cycle. And he's been doing webinars trying to get people to buy, and nobody's buying before 5 or 6 months. And I was just amazed that he was able to get those kind of clients on a webinar because I had a mental block that wouldn't occur. So I was like, hoorah, because that means I can get those kind of clients on a webinar too. But what we decided was he was trying to go, how do I get these guys to buy faster? And I said, well, if none of them are, because they have committees to make these buying decisions, then let's design a 6-month buying process. They get on the webinar and then they have a blueprint, and that blueprint tells them what they need to do for the next 90 days to get their team ready, get their plans ready, get their budgets ready, get their things so that they can be ready to make a decision in 90 days. And then you meet with them again to review what they've gathered and put together and then fine tune their offer. Instead of them on their own randomly doing stuff for 6 months, you orchestrate what they do for that 6 months. So when they show up, they're ready to buy from you. If they're still engaging that process, they are absolutely buying from you. But instead of trying to speed up the cycle, you strengthen the cycle, but you control what they do throughout. And every single one of you needs to be doing the same thing. Do not leave it to them, right? It's your circus, your monkeys. You decide what they do. You decide how the journey goes. Okay. So you get to architect the path that they're going to take. Right. And all of this will eliminate a lot of something that most of you are not doing anyway. Ooh. Be like, well, Jim, what you saying to me? Following up. I'm not going to ask because I get frustrated when I ask. Who's got an active, documented pipeline process that you are deploying on a regular basis? Don't answer. You will break my heart. But yeah, we already know. It's one thing to do follow-up. It's one thing to do random follow-up. And it's another thing to, and it's not nurture. Nurture is not follow-up. Nurture is a CRM function. Follow-up and pipeline is a salesperson function. They work together. But we see sales teams that don't have pipelines. It blows my mind. Right? So this, when you do the stuff we're talking about now, it eliminates a need for a lot of pipeline work. And believe it or not, whatever you put on the front end, you can put the same exact things in your pipeline process. So when you create the front end, you now have a pipeline that you can then move past people. Raise your hands again if you opened our email when we sent it and got your $100 GTE bucks. Not too many people, right? So guess who's not opening your emails? So just because you sent it to them on the front end doesn't mean it's not useful and enriched on the back end. Use the same things that you used on the front end to qualify them, to serve them after your conversation and deliver a pipeline experience. So you're staying on top of them instead of just reaching out going, hey, you ready to buy? Hey, you ready to buy? Hey, ready to buy? You're like, here's more value. Here's what I'm solving for you. Here's what I'm giving you. Here's what I'm doing for you. You're building and growing the relationship. Okay. So again, journey. This is part of our mountaintop experience. Again, if you're in our world, you will have one of these, or you either have one or you will. And there's a lot of stuff that goes in here. Our mountaintop experience is to get you to be a sellable company, a class of one, decommoditized offer. You stand alone as the expert of what you do. And that takes time, effort, and resources. And few little marks on this journey, let's say 2 of these little dots, is your 2-step sales process. That's just part of the process. It's part of the bigger journey, but it needs to fit inside the journey. Okay. So in order to design that journey, you need to be thinking about what do they need to know? They, the buyer, the prospect buyer. Okay. What do they need to know about you, about the situation, and about themselves? What do they need to know about you? What do they need to know about the situation? What do they need to know about themselves? And put that in the journey. What video do they need to watch? What quote do they need to see? What case study do they need to see? What aha do they need to have? You get to control it all so that you can walk up and go, I present to you Jericho, and walk off and go have martinis because they're going to buy. Okay. That's the goal.
This is really important because you are the expert of their problem.
Amen.
You're not only the expert of your avatar, like who they are, male, female, where they live, what are they doing, what do they need. You're the expert of their problem. Big differentiator. And that's what you need to obsess about. Obsess about their problems because that's the solution they're seeking. And so, like, I was on a call with a chiropractor and we're having this discussion and he's like, I need a 2-week intensive to solve my problem. And I'm like, thinking to myself, no, you don't. You've been a chiropractor for 30 years. 2 weeks is not going to solve your problem. There's a long-term solution to your problem. So you get to tell people what to think. You get to define that journey. And then the last thing I'm going to say is make sure your language is very simple and very clear, not clever, not gimmicky, not markety, not rhymey. Your clients need to be able to finger, point, and touch the problems that you're talking about and the things you're saying in your emails and your posts and your communication.
Yeah. And no jargon. You want to don't use words. Think of stuff that you can explain to your grandmother or your grandkids, right? And they can understand.
So don't use the word transformation.
Yes. Yes. And don't use broke people language. You know, I was just in a dialogue with somebody in a group that I'm in that he's launching a transformation product, and he's I'm so motivated and committed to transforming people, and I want them to know that transformation is everything. And there was a whole list of posts like, dude, what are you doing? You can't. That's useless. You can't market transformation. It's generic and it doesn't mean anything, except to somebody who is so unfamiliar with it that it speaks to them, which is typically somebody who is so overwhelmed, they just know they need some kind of transformation. And God help you if they hire you, because that's probably a client that will destroy you. Right? It's also hard to get those people to commit and make decisions. You don't, versus marketing a specific transformation to a specific kind of person who's at a specific stage of their business or life or relationship or whatever. That's different because now you're articulating and dialogue to the experience that they're having. Right? It's just like we don't market and make more sales. It used to be a brand of ours. We had a podcast named that. We did an event called that. But if I say, hey, do you want to make more sales? Most, who thinks about, I need to make more sales? Broke people. Successful business owners, 6, 7, 8-figure business owners, they think, I need a higher conversion rate. I need to generate more revenue. I need more consistent lead flow. They think different terms. If somebody's saying, I need to make more sales, I'm attracting broke people with broke people language and wondering why broke people don't buy. You have to think the same thing too. You have to speak to the mountaintop experience. Okay. What do they need to know about you? What do they need to know about themselves? Right. You'll have this cheat sheet, if I'm not mistaken, Cindy, right? Did we create a cheat sheet for this show up sequence or for this process?
Mm.
So I thought that's what you said. So we'll have one for you. So, but book your call with me so we can talk about yours. Right. And again, I'll stay late and answer questions so we can dive into any of those with you. So book a call and let's talk about what should be in yours. And this is where my brain goes. So I just come up with things that a lot of you might not, because you're so connected to the problem and your experience and expertise. And so as an example, what do they need to know about you? They need to know that you're world-class at solving this problem, that you do this in ways nobody does, that you've been doing this longer. Okay. Timeline between triage call and a setup call, or excuse me, an offer call. 3 to 5 days is a great window. There's a lot of people who say, get people to buy right away. If people can book same day calls, that's the most effective thing. I got news for you. You'll have a higher show up rate, but not necessarily a higher conversion rate, because one day is not enough time. You're trying to build a journey for them to get to know you, to be able to implement all those things on that chart that we talked about. I help them have certainty, clarity, a clear delineation. They get to know who you are. 7 hours, right? 11 touch points, 4 platforms. You can't do that in a day very often, unless that day is a workshop, full day training, something where they can get an experience of you, connect to you. You can accelerate some of those things and you can build in more things for all the senses, sight, touch, sage, sound, all of that stuff. Okay. You can speed those things up. And if you're more well-targeted and qualified, but overwhelmingly, one day will hurt you more than it helps you. Okay. So position it within 3 to 5 days so that and then you make sure that 3 to 5 days is designed by you. What they do, how they do it, where they do it. Again, you guys all, well, unless you registered today to show up here, you got phone calls, you got emails, you got voicemail drops, you got videos, you got text messages for a free event that you didn't even register, that you didn't pay to register for. Because we wanted to make sure you know why you're coming, what you're able to do, what's happening. We wanted to get a show up rate from the people who registered, right? But as we're seeing, there's so many things you have to overcome, like inbox, traffic, all the other stuff. So you have to make sure that you're doing everything you can to design that journey. Okay. Next piece, tracking. your most fun. Everybody here loves tracking, right? Everybody don't head for the exits. Okay. Tracking is a vital. We've all heard it, what you better, that nobody cares more, that whatever you fill in the blank. What do they need to know about the situation? It is intolerable. They need to know that if they don't change it now, it will control them. If they don't change it now, it will take years off of their end. If they don't solve this now, their business will never grow and they will be a victim, right? What do they need to know about themselves? That they deserve more, that they need to step into something greater because there are people who need them, right? Whatever it is. So you have to think about that so that you can articulate, you can construct, excuse me, that journey that helps them identify those things. Okay. Between step one and step two. Again, reminder, this is not about speeding up the sales cycle. It's about strengthening it. The funny thing is, it tends to have an effect of speeding it up because it increases the speed of trust and certainty. Like that's that sequence I was talking about with Ben, going from a 6-month buying cycle to a curated 90-day journey with an offer at month 4, within another 30-day opportunity at the end to get them to stage 2. But that way it's everybody's moving in the same direction with a clear objective and agenda, instead of just taking time to try to make a decision. Quite honestly, the people who are trying to make decisions about working with you, they're not qualified. They don't know their problem really well. They haven't been clearly connected to the consequences of it. They don't know how to articulate it, and they sure as hell don't know how to solve it. Why are you letting them take time to think about something they're not qualified to think about? That's a recipe for failure. Help them make that decision so that it supports them, serves them, positions you, and keeps them moving. Okay?
Yeah, just so you look at Sasha, she's so cute. The difference
Connected to the consequences of it, they don't know how to articulate it, and they sure as hell don't know how to solve it. Why are you letting them take time to think about something they're not qualified to think about? That's a recipe for failure. Help them make that decision so that it supports them, serves them, positions you, and keeps them moving. Okay?
Yeah, just so you look at Sasha, she's so cute. The difference is they understand their symptoms. The symptom is my head hurts. I have body aches all over. The symptom is I don't have enough money in my bank account. The symptom is I don't have enough conversations to have. Those are all symptoms. Those aren't the root problems. And that's where you get to come in as the expert of the problem and put all those symptoms together and say, this is what's really happening in your world. This is how I've solved it in the past. You remind me of blah, blah, blah.
Amen.
Amen.
So, strengthen, don't speed up. Okay. Timeline between triage call and a setup call, or excuse me, an offer call. 3 to 5 days is a great window. There's a lot of people who say, get people to buy right away. They need to, if people can book same day calls, that's the most effective thing. I got news for you. You'll have a higher show up rate, but not necessarily a higher conversion rate, because one day is not enough time. You're trying to build a journey for them to get to know you, to be able to implement all those things on that chart that we talked about. I help them have certainty, clarity, a clear delineation. They get to know who you are. 7 hours, right? 11 touch points, 4 platforms. You can't do that in a day very often, unless that day is a workshop, full day training, something where they can get an experience of you, connect to you. You can accelerate some of those things, and you can build in more things for all the senses, sight, touch, stage, sound, all of that stuff. Okay. You can speed those things up. And if you're more well-targeted and qualified, but overwhelmingly, one day will hurt you more than it helps you. Okay. So position it within 3 to 5 days so that and then you make sure that 3 to 5 days is designed by you. What they do, how they do it, where they do it. Again, you guys all, well, unless you registered today to show up here, you got phone calls, you got emails, you got voicemail drops, you got videos, you got text messages for a free event that you didn't even register, that you didn't pay to register for. Because we want to make sure you know why you're coming, what you're able to do, what's happening. We wanted to position, we wanted to get a show up rate from the people who registered, right? But as you're seeing, there's so many things you have to overcome, like inbox, traffic, all the other stuff. So you have to make sure that you're doing everything you can to design that journey. Okay. Next piece, tracking. Your most fun. Everybody here loves tracking, right? Everybody don't head for the exits. Okay. Tracking is a vital. We've all heard it. What you track grows, right? What you measure, you master. All of those things. It's important, guys. Data is everything. You have to make data-driven decisions. Type in the chat if you track your calls. Okay. Type in the chat if you're tracking your calls. So you track all of your calls and you have all your data on them. Terrific. Okay. That's good. More. And if you're in our world, you do. And if you don't, then you are in trouble. Because you are supposed to. Everybody does. You have to have them. Okay. Here's the key now. Not just do you track them, but do you review them? Do you review the metrics? Are you looking at your numbers? Right? Do you report them to anybody? Are you accountable to anybody for those numbers? Because if you're not, then I want to know what you're doing with the stuff you're tracking. What is the purpose of the tracking? There has to be a strategy and agenda driving from that results, right? So you need to be able to report them. You need to be able to discuss them. Okay. We used to have an accountability coaching division, and we charged $199 a month to help you be accountable to making your calls, making your offers, doing that stuff. And we created a spreadsheet. How many offers, how many outreaches, just simple stuff. Super simple, one sheet thing. And then they would get a 15-minute meeting with their accountability coach. And here's what we saw. 100% of the time, zero exceptions. When they sent in the spreadsheet, they did the work. Anybody who didn't send the spreadsheet in didn't do the work. There was no exceptions, 100% of the time. Just having that one unit of accountability. So it got to the point where we didn't even have to look at them. If they sent them, we knew they did it. So we didn't even need to look. We knew they were on it. We knew they were on their numbers. We knew they were doing their things. And then we just waited till we met, right? But accountability is so important. We're like 6 minutes to the time, and I'm gonna need about 10 more minutes beyond that. So are you guys good to go an extra 10 minutes? And then, like I said, I will stay as long as we need for any questions. I want to make sure you're clear. Okay. This is a tracking form that we have. We've been in whatever CRM you have, we have worked with it. We have never found a single CRM that delivers all of the numbers that we need as effectively as we need to make great decisions in the moment to be able to grow our company. So we've mastered creating impeccable spreadsheets that track data and give us the numbers we need to make great decisions. And then our tech team, Tonye, who created this here, this actually is app for an existing client. And our sales calls get zapped here. And so this is all done automatically with technology. And we know what happened in the qualification call and then what happened in the BT call is her breakthrough call. So that's what goes to the next level and then what those conversion rates are. So it has everything on there that we look at. And we have this here. This is the stats that we look at, right? We look at how many booked, how many showed, what was the show rate, what was the amount of book calls scheduled. What was the enrollment rate on the triage calls? 71%, which is that's quality. So that means of the triage calls, of the people who showed up, 71% of them moved on. This shows that there's still a lot of open appointments because it's booked out beyond that week. And then looking at these numbers, and we want to make sure that you guys are clear about what you need to be tracking. We have this as a solution and a resource. So again, talk to me, book an appointment. This is something that we can provide for you, but for a fee. But we can make sure that you have these tracking metrics and it can be synced up to your CRM if you're using one, or you can just leverage this as it is and have this data impeccably. Speaking of the data, I know there was an exercise that I put in the Facebook group, which was also sent to a voicemail message to you guys on those who registered last week on Saturday. And then we sent a voicemail message on it, I think Monday, saying we created a 5-minute training inside the Facebook group. Go watch it and that there would be a bonus on it. The bonus on it is for those who did it, and we already know because we could see if you watched it and post a hashtag, your GTE bucks are valued double. That's the bonus. So you got double GTE bucks if you or double value GTE bucks for anything you sign up for. with that in place. But the whole objective is for you to understand how many appointments you're running, how many you're booking, because all of those are metrics that can definitely directly control the outcomes of your sales results. There's things we can do to things that you can control is the most important part. Okay. You can control how many appointments are booked, how many of them show, how many offers are being made, right? How qualified are these people? And by qualified, I want you to think about, qualified doesn't mean like you just think they bought something because you found a way to sell them something. I mean, the most qualified opportunities. If this was your dream buyer, you want an entire slate full of these people. If those are the people that are showing up, fantastic. Then now the measure is how do we get more of those people? How do we target more of those people? And it doesn't always mean there's a lot more volume. It means a lot more strategy to getting the right people in place. And then are you making offers to everybody? And if you're making offers to everybody almost all the time, that's a bad thing because you should be qualifying them first. And when you have the conversation, like we talked about on the chart, and you're assessing for the red items, right? And determining, are these the people you need to work with? Are they ready to move? Are they ready to do something about it? What's different this time? And will they actually seize the moment? That's not everybody. If that's everybody you're talking to, you should have a very high show. All your numbers should be super high. Okay. Once you get them to that place, then you invite them to make an offer. That's where you would send them to the booking call, to the next, your sales conversation. But most of the time we make offers to people because they showed up, not because they identified the problem, are committed to solving it, understand the consequences of not solving it, and are ready to do something about it now and have the funds and the resources. When you qualify those people, then you make offers. When they're not those people, you don't make offers because they don't fit. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you want to have a conversation about your data, your metrics, or getting this tracking system in place for you, is something that our client, everybody who we work with, gets a tracking system in place. If you want the automation synced up with you, that would be something extra. If you just want to talk about the tracking, talk to us. It's something we can sell you. It's we got to make sure we're covering our costs of our tech team and support. But it's something we're happy to help you with. Okay. The other thing you got to think about is, what's your KPI of significance for the week? Every week you should have one. Starting today, what is your KPI of significance for the week? Is it getting more people to show up? It's looking at the numbers and seeing what's the greatest area of bleed. Where am I leaking? Right? If you look at this one, right, with our client here, she's converting 50% of the people who showed up. Right? Sandra in her dress shop, their bridal shop, they get like 90% conversion of the people who show up. So the KPI of significance is appointments. When you're converting at 90%, you've everything in your power is get more appointments, get more appointments, get more appointments, get more qualified appointments, right? So the KPI of significance is going to be driven by what is the data telling you. And you should always have a KPI of significance that you're working towards. Okay. And then you track, report, and discuss them. Track, report, and discuss is not just enough to have the data. You got to report the data. Who are you reporting it to? And what are you discussing about? Are you talking about the numbers with your team? Are you talking about the numbers with your management? Are you talking about the numbers with your mentors? What are you doing to make sure you're evaluating and assessing these so that you are making great decisions as a result? Right? That's what we do. That's part of our job with our clients. We're happy to be that for you. Okay. Then once you track, report, and discuss, then you have to discern, is there a training issue, a coaching issue, or a management issue? Training is about skills. Coaching is about capabilities. And management is about tasks and processes. So is there a process problem that needs to be addressed? That's a management conversation. Is there a coaching problem that needs to be addressed? Meaning, are they struggling mentally? Are they having a tough time keeping up and competing? What's going on with them? Are they a hard time embracing the culture, the value? What are they doing that's costing them? Training is skill set. Do they know how to overcome do they know how to answer these questions? Do they know how to move through your sales process? That's training. And that's you. If you're the salesperson, same thing. You have to make sure that's in play, because everything we're doing is to help you build a business. Again, a business that's designed to make revenue. So you might be able to do all this stuff in your head, but that's not replicatable. That's what we call selling from founder magic. And founder magic is not replicatable, which means you'll never grow beyond you because nobody else can step in and do what you do. We want to replicate this so that the business can grow and you can serve your clients. Coaching is about capabilities. Coaching is about mindset, belief. Are they struggling? Are they having a bad day going through? Are they having dynamic issues with the team or stuff that they need to be coached on? Training is about skills. Coaching is about capabilities and management is processes. All right. So I'm gonna okay. And then the booking system piece, we can talk more about that. But basically, you want to make sure that you have a clear play. This is the one thing I will caution all of you on. Be careful to let the link do the work, especially when you're dealing with people. It sounds pretentious, but I don't want somebody who is experiencing success of some kind. Give them the esteem of the success that they've earned, and I see people all the time. I get connected, somebody will introduce me to somebody and they'll be like, hey, yeah, here's my link. Find a call, find a time on the calendar. I'm like, I don't even know that I want to talk to you yet. I'm not even sure, and then you're giving me a link that I got to book and then I got to fill it out. And there's a bunch of questions. It's like, it doesn't even feel good. Right. So when those things occur, when I get introduced to people who are, they're moving, shaking, they're doing things, or I reached out to them. If I reached out to them, I don't want them to fill out a bunch of stuff because I'm the one who reached out to them. If they reach out to me, now I have to put some qualifiers in place to ensure that this is a conversation that I need to have. Okay, so that piece, be careful of that. And I will do a lot of that manually if I can. If I'm trying to give a white glove service, we bring Gabby on the line. I'll connect Gabby, say, okay, here's what we're looking for. I'm really excited to meet you. From what I can see, you're doing some really great things and congratulations on your success or whatever. Can't wait to find out more about how we can help you grow and reach those goals. And Gabby is CC'd here. She will help you get on our calendar at a time that's convenient for you. If you prefer, feel free to use the link below. But I will never just say, hey, awesome, get on my link. Now they can answer questions and do stuff. I'm like, that's not what they asked for. Right. So you want to, how well do you want to differentiate yourself from other people? And Joanne is a white glove service. You want to position that from the beginning. So you want them to know that the moment they step into your world, it feels different. It feels different. That's what, our book for 2025 in SOAR in the community is Unreasonable Hospitality. And, just like we did this workshop, all these people registered and we sent emails, voicemails, text messages, all this stuff, phone calls. We had multiple conversations with people before the training started for a free training, for a free 90-minute session. That's not reasonable, right? We're like, how do we show up unreasonably to serve these people impeccably? It took more effort from us, more focus, more cost, more time. Right. But we want to stand out differently. We want people to know that when they're in our world, something's different. And so you get to control that. Okay. Yeah. And then one thing that I didn't address earlier that I want to just put on the table for you guys is make sure that you set a theme and a tone for who you want to be and how you want to be perceived. The example, the client that we showed you with that tracking sheet, her brand in these triage calls and in the conversations, we ascertained was compassionate certainty. Compassionate certainty. She cares tremendously about her clients, but she is zero fluff. She ain't no fuss, no muss, straight to the point, but she does it with love. And so you have to have that level. You can't be like, oh, well, it's okay. You got to be like, hey, no, that's not going to be okay. You need to do this differently if you want to win. And we're here to help you win because nobody does it as well as we do. That's how she likes it in her brand. You got to decide what is, how does that show up in your brand? And I think when you do that, it helps inform the flavor of the calls that you communicate. And I think that's missed too many times for people. And then the consistency is not there. But especially when you go to that I don't even know I haven't even named that chart yet, that triage process, because I just came up with that visual the other day. But when you're doing that, you want to name the theme. Like, are you Are you unreasonable leadership? Are you compassionate certainty? Are you inspired success? I mean, what's the brand? How do you want to show up on these calls? And how do you want to be? How do you want to be impacting people so that that's what they feel when they get with you, right? So I want you guys to be thinking about that all the time. Um, because I just don't think people give enough to, compassionate certainty, inspired certainty, limitless opportunity. Sometimes that's the brand I take on when I get on a call. I don't want people thinking realistic when they're in my world. I want them to go, no, this is possible. Because they know what they can think realistic all the rest of the time. When they're with me, I want to go, yeah, that's possible. I can do that. Because then I can help them do it. But if you just want to be normal, I can't help you that much. Because I'm bored with normal. I don't want to work with normal people. I want to work with people who are unreasonably excellent and want to do great things. And there's nothing bad if that's not you. It's just you're not going to love being here if that's not who you are. So you decide that, and then that's the flavor I show up. When I show up on calls with people, it's all about limitless opportunity. I want them to see that there's opportunity everywhere. Now we just got to find the right opportunity, put the right strategy, the right plan, and make it go. What is yours? So keep that in mind too. All right. So if there's no other questions, then we'll go ahead and roll. But I want to encourage everybody, make sure you book your call. Make sure you register for the training. Make sure you check your emails because there's more coming. We're going to be, and just a teaser, when you register for the two-step training, or not two-step, the 2-day training, this is the two-step training, you're going to get more GTE bucks. Yes, you'll have a $300 GTE bucks in there just for taking action and moving. So keep that in mind. More to come. Thank you all for what you're doing. You guys are changing the world out there, and we are just honored to be part of the journey. We're honored to be part of your success team, and we thank you for your trust as always. So go make it happen and get on the calendar. We'll talk to you soon.